Actually, hey, let's test it this way. Hold on.
Microphone check.
Can't you go on Facebook?
We are. Look at me.
You have audio?
I'm running through it. There it is.
Oh, so we're good now. Hey, we're back. Good morning.
got-
Yep. Can you? Yeah, Michael. Can you hear us? Because they had a deal before where they couldn't hear us. Do you have a
Hey,
couple?
we there now. We're there now. There it is.
All right, so we're good. Juneteenth. Actually, I do want to talk about. So actually, we're going to rewind because we were talking about adulting
Independent
and
adults.
being an independent adult. And my question to Mafio is somebody who is dependent on the government, welfare checks, food stamps, all that other stuff, are they considered an independent adult? Mafia said it depends on what their perception of it is. My thing is, and I asked Mafio, we were talking about careers where most people who are in that situation who say, hey, I get welfare, I get food stamps, I get all of this assistance, why would I want to work and make the same money, think that they're going to go to a job and that is their forever pay rather than working their way through. One of my greatest examples of that outside of myself would be Cameron.
Cam.
He went to go work for that restaurant and, he knew my rule. If you got time to, when he was working with me, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean.
No doubt.
And next thing you know, within 2-3 weeks, he's the manager. And then they're saying, look, we'll give you your own location. I mean, they've been begging him for years, to let them open up another restaurant and for him to basically run the entire thing. But it is about the amount of effort, I believe. Morning, Vaughn.
Good morning,
I
guys.
believe that you put into it. And so back to the question. So you said being independent, being an adult. So do you think people who take advantage of the system are being independent and being an adult?
If they are dependent on it, they can't be independent. Does that make sense?
Right.
That being said,
They have the
They can't be.
opportunity.
they have the opportunity. We all have opportunities. But again, if you're dependent on something, you are a dependent.
Right.
It's
and-
like being drugs. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like some people use drugs, but are not dependent on them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, I knew a guy, one of my main questions to him was, we were talking about it and when he heard me saying, oh, people doing this, that, and the other, because I was talking to somebody else. And, up where I was contracting, he kind of got all butthurt because that happens a lot. You don't really get the context of what I'm saying. And he said, well, I was on food stamps. I said, cool. I said, what happened? He's like, man, I lost my job. We needed it. We needed help. It was just one of those things. And I said, you still on it now? And he goes, no, as soon as, I found a job. And I'm like, but you're the exception to the rule. You used it when you needed it, but you didn't use it when you didn't need it. That is the purpose. You and I, if you lose your job tomorrow and you can't find anything and you need food or you need assistance, 100%. But the purpose of those is to move you forward so that you can find a job so you can eat, so you can work, so you can find a job and then not have to be there. So actually, I think we're all on the same page.
And I get it. So again, we go back to use and dependency. And you can put that on any drugs, government assistance, relationships, education, anything. Use and dependency are two different things.
Right.
And I don't think you can be independent if you are dependent.
See, this is a good day. This is a good card. I mean, we ain't yelling at each other.
Not yet.
What's up, Mr. Vaughn? Hold on, Vaughn. Hold on, Vaughn.
Y'all ain't dug it. Y'all ain't dug at each other's ass yet.
I got to put Vaughn in the middle there. I got to put Vaughn in the middle. That's what we need right there.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, y'all ain't start digging in each other's ass yet. That's what you need me for, just to start up some shit. I'm just here to start up some shit. That's all the reason I'm here.
Come on.
I'm here
man.
I'm here for the fights.
Let's tell us about Jamaica before we move on. How was what did you say, yo people? How was
Yeah,
yo?
I was around my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as I got off the plane, it was like my brother. I was like, yeah.
Hey,
I've been gone for a long time. Welcome back home. I said, God damn it. Let me take my shirt off. I took my shirt off. Somebody said that.
Yay.
Said, motherfucker, I'm back at the house. No, it was good, man. It's always good to, break up the same routine. I ain't been gone in a while, so it was good. I recharged a little bit and got to see some water and got to look at something different for a change. So it was good, man. Everybody need a break every now and then. Slaw dog.
You can come over here and see some water. I'll put the little hose, whatever that thing is, the sprinkler out.
I ain't fucked up about it. I ain't fucked up about it at all. Me and my boy and Big Mike that's on her. I'll go jump in this pool too. So I ain't fucked up about it.
I was just about to
say,
he got
Mike, this weekend too.
I'm jumping your pool. Man.
Oh yeah, he got pool party this weekend. Man.
Say what?
I don't know if you're supposed to be telling people that.
It don't matter, goddammit. That's how good I'm feeling. Get your ass. He said the people's rebuttal is invited to the pool party. That's what he said.
Hey, well,
that's what he said. That's live from the dog's mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'll be there in some of my finest swimming trunks.
God damn, not the hoochie daddies.
Oh,
not the hoochie daddies.
Balls out. Balls out. Yeah.
Hey, the other day.
You're gonna be just like that. Balls out.
Oh man, put that old baloney. Put that baloney up. Put that old baloney up. I don't even want my Jello no more. I don't even want my Jello. Oh man, I don't even want my Jello no more. Thanks. Thanks. Balls, sun's out, balls out. Speaking of balls out.
Hold on, let's go to this. Let's go to this. That is true. We actually know somebody who does a food drive who will drive up in a brand new Mercedes and ask for 2 boxes of free food. 2 boxes. And then you have the lady who walks 1.5 miles to carry her box home. Who needs it more? Now, what you got, Vaughn? I just wanted, because that comment was exactly, and you know who I'm talking about, who does a food drive, and you know who was there and got pissed off when drove up in a brand new Mercedes and asked for 2 boxes.
How y'all know it was his Mercedes?
You telling me he stole it?
He probably
needed it.
They borrowed it.
You talking about a big fella pulled up and got 2 boxes?
No.
Hey.
No.
Man, I don't know, man. I mean, I think there's always going to be abusive systems, but I don't know. It's hard to look at people from the outside and say they don't need something. You never know a person's situation. However, if we're looking for what it is, if that person did need it and pulled up and got 2 boxes and watched the motherfucker walk away with a box and walk, just move them boxes over and get in so I get you a ride, baby.
Nah.
Nobody gonna let that fool in their brain.
Hey, maybe the motherfucker that was walking didn't like apples. You don't know. Sometimes they don't be wanting shit. I don't know, man. I think we in such a different times because of COVID, and they had all these food places that was set up here, up and down the street. I remember people was taking advantage of that, taking advantage of the boxes that they gave. I don't know if everybody was served that was supposed to be served, but my mama sure wore their ass out, and she brought me some food too. I mean, she brought me a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna say I didn't need it or I did, but I damn sure used it. So I don't know. But if we talking about people dependent on the system and don't really need, and they're really independent people, I think you are taking advantage of it. But if you really need it, you should. I like the system, but I think it means something different to everybody, because I think it's a handicap too.
100%. The first one that don't need it be the first in line.
But how do we know that?
Yeah, we don't know that.
No. If you drive up in a brand new Mercedes.
You sure it was brand new?
Man, I'm telling you, brand new Mercedes. You have no business, if you can afford that car, you have no business. It's like there was the photo that came around years ago of the Bugatti sitting in front of a trailer. You remember the photo? It was like this funny thing, choosing your car over your house. You see some of these houses, guys have these, brand new cars, and damn, your house needs a new roof, your house needs to be painted, and you got that brand new car. And we're not talking about now in the age of COVID and all that. I'm talking, this has been going on forever. This is nothing new that people are doing this. So it's just it's the point of the abuse of a system and how we spend money.
But then think about this.
New cars always first. That's right, because they got that big ass bill that they got to pay, so now they can't buy food.
Okay, and I'd like to speak to that, because think about it. If it's a person in need and they're in a community or whatever, apartment building for that matter, you know what I'm saying? I see all kind of expensive cars in apartment buildings, and this person's neighbor says, okay, hey, there's a food drive. I know you don't have a car. Hey, use my vehicle, man, and make sure you're there early. That could be that person.
Come on, man. How often does that? I mean, you're basically saying that all the brand new cars that pull up at food banks, they borrowed from somebody else.
That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, how can we judge that person in that Mercedes to be not in need? That's all I'm saying. We don't know that person's situation. Someone's driving my Lexus right now because they
your wife.
Nah, she's out of town.
Jake bought a truck years ago, and he found a guy who needed it, but he didn't give him a brand new car. He gave him he paid $3,000 for a truck, and he gave it to him. I've given all the boys cars. Or not all the boys. I've given some of the boys cars. I've done that. But I
you didn't give a motherfucker no Mercedes.
No, I didn't get no motherfucking Mercedes. And I don't know. Now, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this right here. I don't know too many people who are going to allow someone else to drive their brand new ass car. Ain't nobody driving my truck, and it's a truck.
What if it's their child or their parent that let them drive that?
But see, you're on a different. You're basically. I get your point. So, if out of 5 brand new cars, how many of those people borrowed their mama's car?
Okay,
all of them. In your,
and I'm not saying, shit, what if it's the mother borrowing the kid's car?
So everything else, most of the time you have to prove, whether you're on food stamps or anything else, you have to prove that you're in need. Correct?
No, not to pull up and get no box, you don't.
Correct.
I don't even know if that's the purpose of it. I think it was just to feed people, period. I think they were just trying to get rid of it at some point, because they was driving everybody in there, no matter, like, hey, come on, come get it,
yeah, she comes up with her nails done, her hair done, brand new car. Come on now.
Okay, so again, this is probably a young lady that's in need, out here hustling, and she had her hair and nails done. And I'm gonna just throw this out there, not to be judging nobody, but what if she has a job, some type of employment where she has to look very presentable? She could still be in need.
So she
sugar daddy could have gave her that.
Well, maybe she should have taken that money and bought her some food. But I get everybody's point. But we can't say that everybody that pulls up into this line is is in need. And it's, again, you have the choice to turn your car in. I mean, one of the things that I don't think a lot of people realize is if you buy a car and instead of it having repossessed, you can turn that car in, finance another car before it. It's still going to hit you that you turned a car in, but it looks a hell of a lot better than the repossession. So there are options.
Okay.
I just think it's I think we've been kind of taught not to judge because we don't know. I mean, if we look at things just, in a vanilla way and just say, hey, somebody, pull up in a nice car, just looking at it for what it is. And if it's, you probably taking the food out of the mouth of somebody that actually need it.
We've become so politically correct about, not saying things that you now have you have tons of people who are abusing it because nobody's asking them. I mean, Clinton had the deal, if you want to be on welfare, you have to show up at the what's the workforce commission. You had to go into the workforce commission. You had to prove that you were looking for a job. You had to prove.
He also had the 3 strikes you're out rule. He said.
There you go.
I ain't against 3 strikes you're out.
Kamala was on that
a
out there in LA too, but that's a whole nother conversation.
He also signed it, and he got his dick sucked in the Oval Office.
Yes, he did. And used cigars how they're not supposed to be used.
Ooh.
And didn't have no problem putting meat into the mouths of the needy. No problem.
Hey, I want to say this though, and this kind of, encompasses my whole idea on this topic. I have a mantra in my life, and this is a jewel I think I'm gonna drop on people if they take the time to consider this and think about it. Your perception is not my reality.
Right.
And you flip that around. My perception may not be someone else's reality. So I don't throw that on nobody. Man, it's like if you're borrowing someone some money, you know what I mean? Like my perception on it is if I can do it, if it's not gonna, prohibit me in any kind of way, I can't go play golf, I can't put gas or food on my table. A lot of times I don't even look for it in return. But if I
need
it,
$100, Mafia.
I got you. I got you. Real shit.
Mafia actually paid for my round of golf the other day.
But that was
I sure appreciate that blessing.
I was obligated to do that.
Oh,
I sure appreciate that blessing.
He was obligated. That was a bet.
That was a contract.
I still sure appreciate that blessing. He followed through, baby. I forgot all about it. He was like, "Yeah, I got you, man." I said, "Damn, life's good."
My $2 bill,
and I still got the $2 bills. I'm gonna put them in my pocket one day. I promise you. You will have them before Mike's pool party. Hey, Mike, they gonna have a $2 bill before the pool party.
I'm out of town, so
hey, I'll take a picture and send it to you. Then you know you got it. But seriously though,
no,
man,
and I get it that you're
my perception is not someone's reality. So who am I to prejudge them or put my thoughts and ideas and prejudices on someone else? Man, if they there, they there. You know what I mean?
Because
if I'm giving away food, I'm giving away
the
food.
hole.
But I mean, that's on a person though, and their personal operating system. If someone don't take advantage of a situation, they gonna do that shit regardless. But for the giver, if you're gonna give.
I got a good question for you then. Do you give money to homeless in Dallas?
At times.
In Fort Worth?
At times.
Yeah.
At times. A lot of times I don't carry cash. You know what I'm saying? I give myself allowance, and if I have it, man, if I move, here, take this, bro. Like just the other day, I had a bunch of snacks in my car. It was hot as hell. You know what I'm saying? And I seen a guy out there just, you know what I mean? And I was going into a gas station. And as I was coming out, I'm like, man, if he's still there, I'm a blessing. You know what I mean?
What'd you get? With some zingers?
No, man, I had a couple fig bars. You know what I'm saying?
No. I'm talking money.
If I have money, I'll give it. But whatever I have, if it's just a word of encouragement that's on my heart to share, I'm gonna give it.
So I don't give money, and I never. You've seen. There's been too many cons, too many. I'll volunteer. I'll donate money to. Well, and that's a whole nother thing that is actually, directly doing something. Food. I remember we were in Houston. We had taken a turkey to her parents' house or something. So we ended up with a fully cooked extra turkey. Tried to give it to a homeless, group, and they were like, "I don't want your stupid food." And it was like, "Oh, okay. We want, you're out here begging for money because hungry, big sign, hungry, need food. Here's food. Don't want the food. I want the money."
Okay, cool.
They probably didn't think it had no seasoning on it.
And again, I don't put my opinion on nobody. Like I've been in situations like that where I've been in a gas station, for instance, and guy, hey man, I ran out of gas, or can you help me with some money? Hey, look, if you need something out of here, I don't have no cash, but if you need something out of here, come on, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna give. I don't give with you know what I'm saying, looking for something in return. If I'm gonna give, I'm gonna give. I've gotten out of my car and given people hugs and told them I love them You know what I'm saying? Like,
Surprised they didn't stab.
well, I mean,
Oh.
the situation was a situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't just get out and do this anytime, but I found myself doing this. Like,
Well,
you
and
never
studies
know
have
how
shown
much-
though, but
you don't know
studies
how
have
much
shown
you can
that
make
the
someone's
majority of
day.
money given to homeless people either goes to drugs or alcohol. I mean, studies have shown it. We already know that. I mean, we have failed as a as a country. We have failed our homeless people. I am 100% behind between mental illness, drug addiction, and alcoholism. We as a country have utterly failed.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did we the people fail them?
Oh no, yeah. Oh no,
hold
it's
on,
us.
listen,
It's every
listen.
one of you.
Just listen.
No, it's all of us.
Can I ask my question?
I know what you're saying. Is it all of us or is it just the government?
All right.
It's all of us. We are the government. We are the people.
Now, we talking about veterans, right?
No, I'm talking about
Homeless,
every
period?
human being who is homeless right now,
Okay.
or every child who is food insecure, every one of them. No, I'm not talking about veterans. They have veterans affairs. They have opportunities to get better assistance. Usually, they get
From
out of it.
foundations, from nonprofits.
The Veterans Affair is done by the federal government. The Dallas Veterans Hospital, Veteran Affairs, if you fought in a war, even if you just went to Saudi Arabia or to Kuwait for 5 minutes, that they have opportunity, but a lot of times they don't get those opportunities because they won't follow through. They're given options, and this is going to sound really bad, but they're given options that they shouldn't be given. So, for example, if you know somebody's bipolar, well, if you take this medication and you follow through, then these are the things we're going to do for you. The problem is most of the guys that go on bipolar medication hate it, and then they stop taking it, and all hell breaks loose.
So they say become a drug addict, and
It's
you can
not
have this.
that isn't. It's not an addictive drug. It's actually what is it called? Lithium is actually the opposite of addiction. They don't like it.
I thought lithium was a battery.
But they putting stipulations on the help.
Because in order to get the help, they can't just say, okay, now we'll get you an apartment, and then you go around and you go kill people. The whole point to it is to move forward. And again, as I said before I even started saying it, because I knew you were going to do it, it doesn't mean it's okay. I'm not saying there are. And Kennedy is just as hard as, yeah, and it is. I mean, I know somebody who was going to the Veterans Hospital that it was a nightmare getting in there. And it was a night, you hear there's stories that have been around forever about waiting 8 hours to see a doctor, for whatever the case may be. So, yes, I mean, again, but that's part of our failure.
And so, again, my point is the government sent, they said,
Oh, okay, so everything's the government's fault. We're going back to that.
You're not gonna hear me out, bro. I don't have to talk. All I'm saying is these veterans went to work for the government, not for the people, for the government. And now the government is not gonna be the first one to step up and say, bro, you did this for me, man. Let me get you. Come on, man.
But you're not going to do anything to change it. You're not going to vote. You're not going to participate. That's what you tell me.
Bro,
So it's just as much your fault as it is the government's. If you're not going to vote and participate, just as much your fault as it is the government.
I've lost trust in the American government and its leaders.
That means it's your fault too. It is our fault as a country. And unless you're going to move your ass out of the country and go live in Canada, Mexico, or 5 million other countries that are out there, it's just as much your fault as it is the government's fault. You're not out there fighting for veterans. You're not out there fighting for homeless people. You're not out there fighting for, alcoholics and drug addicts and all these people on the street. And if you're not out there fighting for it, I'm just as guilty as you are. We are all guilty of it.
You could throw blame around if you want to, but they didn't go fight for me, bro. They went and fought for them, for the government. You understand what I'm saying? That's just like a gang. Like if I'm a gang leader,
I'm not gonna go to that.
It's the same
it is
shit.
you. If either
let's
you're
go,
going
Chad.
to move
Put your
out
hands
of the
up.
country,
I ain't
right?
even know
And
damn well.
so you're going to participate in the country, but fuck the country.
Bro, it's been like that my whole life. The government.
So
ain't
what, you
never
think
gave a
that's
shit
okay?
about me.
So that's the
government ain't-
adulting side of you is that I'm gonna be like, oh, well, fuck the world and fuck the government, and well, homeless people, you need to look at the government. Don't look at me. You know, I have nothing. That is that is the most ridiculous thing to say. Is that
to you?
No, in general, you can't sit there and say, so you're not an American.
I'm a human being.
But you don't live in America.
I live in this.
You don't pay taxes to America. Good morning. Good morning, Keisha. You got in during the good parts. Here we go.
To play a part of the game, they take my money. Yeah, so I pay taxes. It's not an option when you W-2. You understand what I'm saying? It's part of the game.
And that should change. Hold on. And that should change. It's not fair. It's almost like, yeah, you can't have a friend of mine said many years ago, you can't serve another person, talking about being a concierge at a very fancy place. You can't serve another person if you've never been served. If you don't, in other words, if you haven't had it, then you can't give it. And that is the perfect example. There should not be civilians reviewing the records of veterans.
Who hired them?
It should be veterans. I mean, we're going to have that argument all day long. You don't vote. If you don't vote and you don't participate, you can't talk shit.
No, who hired these people in these government entities?
You. By not voting, you basically said, fuck it, I'm not going to get involved. I don't want to get involved in shit. I'm just gonna.
You saying what? You saying the people that's reviewing the records are voted in? Is that what you're saying?
No. But the people who allow it to continue to happen, because remember, you're talking about a government entity, which means the people that you vote in office are the ones who regulate. So your congressmen, your senators, every single one of them regulate how Veterans Affairs work. They regulate the IRS.
I'm speaking in specific to Michael's comment down there. He said they have folks who have never served reviewing our records. So who is they that has the folks? Who are the folks?
The government entities.
The federal government for Veterans Affairs are the ones that hire civilians to review their records. And
why would you hire somebody who has absolutely no experience?
Homeless veterans who, I imagine there's some, a lot of mental illness. A lot of it has to do, a lot of those people are very smart. I mean,
oh yeah,
you would be surprised.
Yeah. I know plenty of them.
Yeah, they're very smart. So
I know plenty of them.
It's just like, there's again, we have failed. We, except for Mafio. Mafio is exempt. Mafio hasn't failed anything.
Shit, you mean to tell me they can mandate you to take a damn vaccination, but they can't mandate who gonna work in these?
Who got mandated?
Hold on, bro. You mean to tell me they could mandate?
You just lied, because nobody mandated to get a vaccine. What federal government mandated you to get a vaccine? There were no federal mandates to get vaccines.
They did at the Cliff Club.
At the what?
See? It was a Cliff Club.
What the fuck is the Cliff Club?
Hey, we're going to have to take them. Say no more. It's going to be a new one. It ain't the old one.
Cliff Club closed.
We're going to change his life.
No, there was no federal mandate to get a vaccine. Zero.
No, it was not. But I mean, you gotta look at what Mafia.
If they can mandate you to have car insurance, they can't mandate who works in these federal facilities.
No, the state mandates car insurance. And yes, if
you
hit somebody,
you mean to tell me there's a state in
America
again,
you're talking about
to have auto insurance if you own a car?
So you think you shouldn't have to have auto insurance? You have enough money that if you hit somebody, you can pay for it.
That's not my point. My point is, if they can mandate that, they can't mandate this.
Hello, Jake from State Farm.
Car insurance. You're comparing a state to a fucking strawberry.
I'm talking about mandations. All right. If you can
name a real mandate.
They can't mandate that only veterans work in veteran affair facilities.
You mean to tell me that?
Well, why haven't they done that? Well, we ain't got to deal with somebody.
What do you care? You're not going to vote somebody who says that's what I want. You're not going to vote somebody into office. You're not going to participate in anything that says, hey, one of my deals, I want to make sure we need to change how the VA works. Is that in your platform? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Good. I'm going to hold your ass to it. I want you on the Hill arguing. I want to know. I want to see. I want you to put forth a bill that says XYZ. You don't want to do that? I'm all for it.
I'll tell you what I
I'll
wanna
go.
do.
I mean, we'll start soliciting as part of this show, as part of all the people we got on here. We'll start soliciting congressmen and senators. We'll do it. But you keep saying you don't want to participate in
I'll
anything
tell
like
you what
that.
I will participate in.
Hmm.
I will participate in voting if we can vote out every motherfucker that's in politics and all these leaders and rehire some new people that's for the people. If we can do that, then yes. If we can't do that, then we're goddamn it voting in a system in a machine that's not built for everybody, bro. That's just my
So
personal
do
opinion.
nothing to help. So first of all, you can't vote out senators and congress people that aren't your senators and congress people. You could start a movement just like every other movement that's been started. Healthcare, when Obama went into it, people had been arguing for that since 1950 and it never happened. But guess what? One president, one set, although it was a massive wrench, one president, Congress, and senators, they did it. For 50 years, actually 56 years, people were arguing. 56 years prior to that, the president of the United States says, we cannot continue on this path. We are going to go under. 56 years later, it happens.
Which president was that?
No,
The
no,
one
but
they
no,
knocked off?
I don't want to.
The
No,
one they knocked off?
no. He completed his entire, what was he, the longest running, was it Roosevelt or whatever the fuck?
Oh,
No, not Kennedy.
Hey, so look.
I know you want to go conspiracy and, they murdered him over health care.
This ain't no conspiracy.
It wasn't the Russians,
look,
it wasn't the CIA, it was...
that same.
They murdered him because he had a black chick as a side chick.
That
Huh?
same.
You what, Vaughn?
Never mind.
That same president that made Obamacare was the same president that gave the biggest mother. Listen,
No.
hold on, gave the
No,
big-
because you're off into left field about something else. Let's stick in our topic. So it took
This is my
56 years.
topic. How
No,
can
that isn't the topic.
Hey,
It
Zach,
took
how can you know it's in
56
the
years to
topic
get
if you
it
don't
done.
Listen, bro.
Because you're going to talk about giving tax credits and giving money to banks.
But we don't know that. We gotta hear him say it though, Zach. We gotta listen. I didn't hear him say it.
Because this
You
is what
can't-
Mafio does. He goes off in the left field and gets out of the top.
But you gotta allow him. But we don't know where he's going though.
I know exactly where he's going.
You know, but we don't know. We want to hear what this.
6 years of people fighting to get to that point. But you won't spend any time. You're not going to spend 56 seconds to vote or participate. Those people, it took them 56 years to finally come out of and get a shitty version, but at least a version of universal health care. So I'm talking about the exact same thing. Would we be 106 years old? Hell, Juneteenth. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at Vaughn, by the way, love the Juneteenth, man. How many years did it take her? She walked from Dallas to Washington, D.C. How many years did it take the grandmother of Juneteenth to get the holiday Juneteenth? Mr. Vaughn, can you look? It took a long time. Or is he frozen?
I'm frozen.
Oh, you frozen. How long did it take for the Juneteenth holiday to come around?
Well, it was 65?
No. How many years did she
While
fight
y'all
for?
look that up, I bet you it didn't take that much for the biggest welfare check to be given by a fucking president. I promise you that. When they bailed out them banks, and they were billionaires and was bailed out with the biggest corporate welfare given. Come on, man. And I'm supposed to pledge allegiance to this government? I can't do it, bro. I don't believe in it. I've lost faith in it. I don't. Come to find out, I don't believe I've ever had faith in this American government, bro. Because
Well,
it wasn't built on equality for everybody. So why should I
not
look at it
at all. I mean, you have to. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of us that never felt like the rules or regulations were benefiting those of of color, of other races at all. So It's a lot of holidays, a lot of things that we just never really felt like we was included in. But yeah, it goes all the way back to the transatlantic slave trade where they dropped off slaves all down in the Caribbean. And you know it's a trip. You know Jamaica is still paying Great Britain.
Everybody paying them.
Right. I said, man, white folks got their hands in every fucking thing. It's like you can't have shit to your fucking self. You're always paying, or you owe somebody something, or they didn't took something from, the shit just wasn't fair. It wasn't, like you said, it just wasn't equal all these years. You didn't beat a motherfucker for 400 years. It's like shit. How much more can somebody take? And I just think things like welfare, depending on whose perception it is, it's a handicap. It was designed to keep motherfuckers where they at, so they wouldn't want for nothing else. I give you this little bit. You know what? We're gonna keep you over here. You ain't got to move out the projects or whatever. For some people, and then you have some people that done moved out that still take advantage of the free food and all the other free things that they give, and they don't necessarily need it. So, like you say, somebody else's perception is not another person's reality. Don't put your insecurities on me or your thoughts on me, and or project some on me that's not really happening. But we never know what people's fucking backgrounds are. And who am I to fucking judge? If you want to go get that free bread or whatever that's over there, and that pasta that they gonna fuck around and throw away anyway because some of us are too good, you gotta think if they giving away food in DeSoto, ain't nobody over here gonna really fucking need it. Shit, we don't even have a bus system over here because they didn't want people over here who needed to ride the bus. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they didn't want it, and we vote that shit out every year. I don't blame them. Shit, I pay enough taxes over here. I don't want to see a motherfucker walking down the sidewalk most of the time, because bus stops bring in other shit, people that don't belong over here. And we pay enough taxes in this motherfucker over here to have some shit going. I'm gonna tell you that, and we pay some of the highest taxes and got the lowest paid teachers, which is unfucking. Which don't make sense to me.
Civilized.
Yeah, it's uncivilized. How we gonna have I'm looking at my property taxes. I'm like, how we got the lowest paid teachers? That's around. If you compare them to all the school districts, it don't make sense to me. And you asking, you'll never get any. And then we have some of these subpar school system. So you asking, you'll never get anybody. So that's part of what I'm talking about, some systematic shit. How you gonna pay people the lowest, but you want schools to come up? Nobody that's worth anything gonna come over here and teach if you're paying people the lowest. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't see how that's going. How you gonna get somebody out the hole that way?
And that's something we discussed last week, that schools should be a lot more even. So again, Opal Lee fought, from what I can tell, in 1994 is when she started. It actually started in 1945 with somebody else, but in 1994, Opal. So 28 years she fought for that. That is my point.
You talking about fought for the Juneteenth to be a holiday?
To be a holiday. It looks like, from everything I can tell, it started at a conference in 1994, and she started fighting for Juneteenth become a national holiday. Now it is. My point to all this is, the majority of us believe that these things are wrong, but if the majority of us don't stand up and say, hey, you're running for Congress, you're running to be, a senator, and you can't wipe everybody in the United States out of office. All we can do is control and hopefully treat it like a virus so it spreads. Control our congressmen, vote, campaign, help our congressman, our senator that goes to the federal government, our state representative, our state people, our governors. And I banged my finger. I was wondering what that was on the tip of my finger. Those are the things. Our mayors, our city council people. I mean, for God's sakes, we had criminals in Dallas City Council that were basically selling the rights to things. You know,
Got that in the White House.
so, but in order for that to change, we can't just say, well, I'm not going to participate. I'm going to complain about it, but I'm not, because nothing I do is going to change it. Opal Lee, I guarantee when she started out, there were a ton of people saying, you're never going to get that. You're never going to get that. You're never going to get your own holiday. There's too many white people. They don't want you to have that holiday. Too many. But for 28 years, she did it, and she got it. 56 years, healthcare, you know, Emancipation Proclamation, all these different things, they don't happen overnight. You have to educate people. I mean, and this isn't saying anything, you know, I pay attention to this stuff more. Understanding what school bonds are, what school bonds mean. No, it's a federal holiday now, though. It doesn't matter. It's a federal holiday. That's why your bank, the USPS was closed. I went to the post office yesterday and couldn't go in because I didn't realize it was a federal holiday. So, yeah, only 24 states may see it, but it doesn't matter. It's a federal holiday. It's just like any other holiday.
That's the same damn thing all over again, where part of the country saying, all right, it is, and then part of the country saying,
it's a federal holiday. I mean, I don't get what you're saying.
Ain't that
it's
what
a federal
Juneteenth
holiday.
is when when the Emancipation Proclamation, Texas said?
The Emancipation Proclamation, Juneteenth's when they 2.5 years they landed in Galveston, Texas, and read the Emancipation Proclamation because all the racist fuckers were not telling the people in the South, hey, by the way, you're free. They didn't know.
It wasn't just Texas that this.
No, it was the actual holiday is they landed in Galveston, Texas. It's actually a Texas holiday, but it was expanded to San Francisco. I mean, matter of fact, one of the first celebrations was in San Francisco, but it's the day that whoever it was landed in Galveston, Texas, and read in Galveston the Emancipation Proclamation. Almost 2.5 years after the actual signing of the Emancipation, which I never understood why that wasn't a federal holiday.
Okay.
That never made any sense to me.
And again, I'm not familiar totally with everything, but I've heard some things, so I'm just trying to understand. So you mean to tell me Texas did not know,
the entire
or they
South
did know?
Oh, they knew, but they
they knew.
You're going back however many
just walk with me, man.
Centuries ago. I'm not going to sit there and say like, oh, well, that's all of us now too. Come on. It's the point of, we keep getting off of this. These people fought for decades to get these things done, but
they can.
You're not going to do anything.
One day.
What do you mean? Welfare to me is one of the greatest racist things around. I mean, but it happened, and it has nothing to do with white or black or Hispanic. It racist in the way of it creates people who are dependent, just like we talked about, dependent on a system. I don't have to work. I can get food stamps. I can get welfare. I can get free money for this. I can get free money for this. I can get all this for free. That is one of the worst things that we have. And I promise you, I've known, matter of fact, the discussion we were talking about before that makes the same amount of money was actually a white person that said, if I go get a job tomorrow, I'm going to make the exact same amount that I get for free. Between welfare, food stamps, that white trash bad hoe.
I'm talking about the biggest amount of welfare giving. Corporate welfare. Given to the oligarchs of America that's running.
You're getting
America
into the same. We've already had this conversation. We all agree. But you're not going to do anything to change it,
bro. You mean to? But my point is, there's a system in place that the common folk.
So I got a
has
good one.
No way in.
I got a good question. This
when it
question
comes to dealing with government, bro.
Is Mafia the reminder? I'm asking Mafia the reminder. So if somebody comes to you and says, you know, I don't know what I should do. I don't like this. I want this to change. Is your answer to them as Mafia the reminder, well, just don't participate and just start all?
No, I would have to take that person and do an assessment, see their mind and what their desire and goal is.
Change.
And
almost anybody who says something like wants it to change.
Man, you know how many people complain about shit, talking about they gonna do this and that, and still don't put the action behind it? but they won't.
But
change.
you're complaining about it. But you're not going to put action behind it.
What am I complaining about?
The oligarchs.
I didn't complain about it. I just said it's present.
Oh, okay. So it's
I didn't
all right.
complain about it. I just said it's present from
What you
doing
shuffling
research.
over there, Vaughn?
From doing research, our American government has been hijacked.
But
It's
you're
been
so you
bought.
have no complaint. You're all good with the oligarchs
It's
and
gonna
all the
happen.
billionaires. But you're good
It's
with it.
happening. It's
No,
been
but you just said if you're not going to do anything about it,
It's what
then
this
it doesn't
country-
matter.
It's what this country was built
But
on.
that means you're good with it. So to all the oligarchs, Mafio's fine with y'all doing what you do. What are you shuffling, Vaughn? You shuffling some cards?
No, not today.
Sound like you were shuffling cards.
Nah, I was getting my desk cleaned up here.
That's how interested he is in the American government.
No, I'm not. I was thinking while y'all was talking.
No. He votes.
Hey,
He marched.
To each
I
his own.
remember when you called me. You called me after you marched, but I remember during all the. You went to Cedar Hill, wasn't it?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah.
After the George Floyd thing.
Yep.
Well, I did.
And you mean to tell me motherfuckers still ain't getting beaten, killed by police?
To
You want
death.
to tell me the cops ain't going to prison? They're not going to jail. We just saw one get sentenced the other day. These motherfuckers are going down. You're seeing video, and this is 100%. Right now, it's all about the videos. Y'all cops, y'all better realize every motherfucker got a cell phone. That little 5-year-old kid that's playing Sudoku or whatever game he's playing, as soon as he see a cop, I guarantee that's one of the first things people are teaching their kids nowadays, how to hit that record button.
What about the ones that aren't being recorded?
Again,
That's
body
hiding behind
camera.
that
No.
blue wall.
But again, body cameras. That's what it's about.
They're
I'm
not
all
on
for
all
it.
the time.
But you're not going to vote for. But you're not going to vote for it. You're not going to push it. You're not. So it doesn't matter. So, but it's true. You said it. I'm not going to do shit about it. I'm not going to vote.
When you come to me with a good situation that sounds good, then
Oh,
I'll
so somebody's got to
contemplate it.
come to
But-
you. You're not going to do anything, but if somebody has to do all the work for you, you don't want to put any work in. But if
I will
somebody
put-
does all
I
the
will-
work for you,
I will put work into something that makes sense to me with something that
but
I value.
nothing makes
but I
sense
don't
to
value
you.
the American
Right,
government.
but nothing makes sense to
I
you.
don't value the American
That's right.
government.
So, I mean, again, he's good with everything because he doesn't care. I'm fine with it. Moving on.
Mafio didn't say he didn't care.
Hey, but it's the same conversation.
Yeah, but he didn't say he didn't. Mafio didn't say he didn't care. He just, I don't,
No. He says he doesn't care because I said something about the oligarch. He said, well, I can't do anything about it. Well, that means you must not care because you can do something about it.
I
There
care-
is something you can do
I
about
care
it.
to the point where I care.
You
to
don't give a fuck. You're not going to sit here and tell me you care, but I'm not going to do anything because people who care about things do things about it.
Hey, wife, if you're listening to this podcast, please put in a comment that I hate to be interrupted, and you can't tell what a whole book is about if you read half the book.
I read the whole book.
My point is, bro, how you gonna know what I'm talking about if you keep cutting me off and don't let me finish?
Then go.
I don't
But
want
it's
to
the
no
same
more.
thing because it's the same thing. You have nothing new. The oligarchs, the money, can't do anything about it. They buy the votes. You're not saying
They
anything
don't
that's
buy the
new.
votes.
Yeah, they do. They go in there.
They bought
They
the
bought-
politicians and the government.
That's called buying the vote. So
They-
they're buying for the bill that they want because that person, that senator or that congressperson votes on that bill.
What
So
about
they're
the
buying that
president?
vote.
The president.
So
is
they're
bought.
buying that vote.
They're
But you're not saying anything new. They're buying the vote of the president. The vote for the president is to sign it into deal. All Congress people vote for bills. All senators vote on bills. So that they are buying the vote. There's nothing new about what you're saying. But that's the thing. There's nothing new. I'm still not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to vote for my local congressperson, my senator, my House representative, my governor, my mayor. Who the fuck is the sheriff?
Hey,
You're not going
I'm
to vote
un-
for any of them.
I'm under a different government, bro.
The government of what?
God and
Congo.
Jesus Father of the King James Version Bible. That's my government. That's my government.
So,
That's my government. Now, this American thing, a totally separate entity that I cannot buy in because I don't value.
so God and
That's just
Jesus.
me.
So God and Jesus say don't vote.
I never said that. I never said that. If you listen to what I just said, I am under a different government.
Obey the laws of
And
the land.
not
It's in
to-
the Bible.
Of course I do. I don't break no laws. I never been to jail. You know what I'm saying? If I do break the law, it is what it is. I ain't got caught.
If he get killed,
Not
if he
breaking the
dies,
law
he
as long as
dies.
you don't get caught.
If he dies, he dies.
I
Sorry,
mean,
dog.
they man-made laws. You know what I'm saying? I do my best with it. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, we should have a discussion on that. I read something that I actually thought was really good. You probably like
Oh,
it.
what's that? What's that?
Talking about the Bible and some other stuff. I don't want to go into it, but
Yeah.
you'll actually like
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I mean, because
Oh.
see, there's things about like, and again, it comes to what your personal values are, and like we all different. We all free agents. We can do it and be whoever we want to be. It's just that I've chosen to be led by a different government
So, but that
than
means
the United States, which is that government is it. They don't say the same thing.
so the personal value, because
Personal
this is
value.
where it all comes to me. 'Cause
That's all.
I'm a Christian, so this is what it all comes down to me. My personal values are I don't care enough to do anything about what I think is wrong. Which actually, if you see something that's wrong, you're supposed to do your best to correct it. True or false? That's
Okay.
in the Bible.
Okay.
You're supposed to do the thing. You know, if you have the ability, one of the funniest things that I think in the Bible, and all these people who ignore, homeless veterans, drug addicts, it's in the Bible that Christians got PO'd that Jesus would choose the lowliest of the low to sit with, to participate with, it's almost as if he cared. And a lot of Christians and talks about in the
You
Bible.
mean like sitting with the pimps and the hoes, low?
Yeah. I mean, because he always felt that was the way to expand, was those are the people that need me. We're the lowliest of people. So, I mean, if you're going to get into that, as Christians, we have the responsibility that if we see an injustice, to correct that injustice. And whether you like it or not, that has to do with participating, not even participating. You ain't got to participate, but it is about, what can I do in my community? Well, I can go to the homeless shelter and volunteer. I can donate money. I can vote for people who see things the way, that I do. Whether they win or lose, you participate in it. And that is, I mean, again, I think we need to save all that part of it because because what I read actually had some really cool stuff, and I think you'd like it because we look back now, and I don't want to go into it.
Yeah.
It's good though. good.
And I want to say this too, like, because I am a student of the scriptures of the King James Bible, you know what I'm saying? When
King James was gay too.
When I hear the word Christian,
Vaughn had just tossed that in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
when I hear the word Christian, because of my understanding of the scripture, are we talking about the ones that go to church on Sunday or the ones that have their holy convocation on the seventh day of the week, which is Saturday? When I hear about Christians, are we talking about the ones that when you go to a funeral, they say that's not your mother, your father, your brother, your sister in that box, they in heaven? Or are we talking about the ones that says there will be a judgment date until?
Yeah, I don't want to get into no, because we're going off into
This
a
is
tangent.
distinction.
But
yeah,
I'm talking because there's a quick version of that, and that is
but again,
Etta James. I'm
there's a-
talking about a Sunday kind of love. Everybody remember the song Sunday kind of love? It means are you going to love me the day after? So it'd be a Monday kind of love, a Tuesday kind of love.
Day after what? Day after what? We fucking or what?
Why we gotta go? We're sitting here talking.
Well,
about
goddamn it, you said the day after. What we talking about after? You talking about the morning after
You
what?
get my point to that. It was, the point is was it just that one, that Sunday, or is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? Is
Yeah,
it
but the Monday after
That's
what? Though?
No. We're not. I'm not going in. I'm talking Bible, and you talk about fucking.
Well, yeah, that's what you said.
I get what you're saying. Is the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, Thursday. Not the Sunday Christians that wake up, go to church, and walk out of there, eat lunch, and then just do whatever.
We talking about the
And
cheap
that's a whole
Christians.
nother
I
discussion.
can't wait to have this
That's
discussion.
another
We should
discussion.
do this Friday, man, because again,
I will
there's
be
some
here Friday.
things-
So there's certain
Oh.
conversations that I want to have. First of all, and you touched on one of them, perception. We're going to do a podcast on perception. We're going to do a podcast where we get a little bit into. We're not going to go. We're not trying to. We may have to keep Vaughn out of this because we be talking about Bible and Vaughn get out there and start talking about fucking.
Man, God,
I don't know.
hey, he need to be a part of that. Look, everybody.
And they was talking about
everybody-
fucking in the Bible. Most of the people in church cheating on each other.
But
Dirty motherfuckers.
so I'll be out of town. I mean, we'll still do
This
the
Friday?
podcast.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we'll be
okay.
out. And actually, when I get back, we may pretty much be in.
Be in a new spot. Oh, fine.
we
You
may-
should see it. It's air conditioned already. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
No shit.
I was
I ain't
in
walking-
I may have to take a field trip.
I ain't sitting
Yeah.
in no heat. There's guys out there right now sheetrocking. All right, guys, we appreciate y'all watching.
Yes.
We thank you.
You got them working on Juneteenth.
Ah, we're
You know
gone.
what I'm talking about? What a contradiction.
Hey, ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba. Ba 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 ba.